Hello, crafty friends. This is Irene Fiero from Impressive Formations. So there was a question on how I did the front-facing train, and I believe I also saw another question about how I did the cabooses. So I'm doing this video to hopefully explain that in a little bit more clearly, because I've always heard that if somebody asks a question, there's probably more people who have the same question but just don't ask. So for the front-facing train, and just to give you some context, we're talking about this particular train here, the front-facing train. And I created it using the same die that from the Anna Griffin slimline train here. Anyway, so we start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then we trim off 3 inches. And then on the 3-inch one, we just need to fold that in half. So at about 1.5 right here. I'm just going to use my paper cutter. We do the little crease line. And we're going to fold this in half. So with the crease to the left side, I'm going to take my train, the train die, and I am going to line it up to over here in the back, there's a cut line right there, right after this full square. So we want to pretty much go to that point. So on this side, this is our square. This is the full square. So that cut line is somewhere in here. So we're going to get past that point. So from up here, it's about halfway point. No, it is. We're about at halfway point. And then from down here, I see the black here, so we need to scoot it over a little bit. Okay. Halfway point here, and I don't see the cardstock here anymore, and that's what we need. So I'm going to pass this through the cutter. So when you open this up, there's so much pressure on this that, there we go. So let's take off all these little extra pieces. And then with the your bone folder, try to smooth the crease so it opens up a little bit. So where the fold line is at. Okay. So let me throw this out. And then for your background, so I used this dark gray, and this guy fits here. So I just take a pencil and I just trace around the cutout. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be the background. And now I just cut this piece off. I'm just following my little pencil line as best as I can. And let me just cut this so I don't have to fight for the whole paper. So there's our cutout. So now I'm going to mount this train. Oops. To my background cardstock. And I'll just press that for a little bit. So there's partial train here. Now for the that silver front part, we're gonna take we're gonna pretty much do the same thing with this little piece. We are gonna fold this guy in half. And you want the fold line to be on the straight part. And I'm gonna get a piece of mint tape because this is a little piece, the cardstock's a little thick and it might move. So just to make sure it doesn't move on me. So same thing, we line it up to where we can see the little cut line. So I see the cut line there still. So this is where I want to tape it. Now here, I don't know if you noticed, but the cut line is facing up. I can see the cut line. Because I want the smoothest part, it's going to cut into your plate and not into your mat. Okay. So let me run this through. If you cut it, the die facing towards that magnet, it's gonna get a lot of the background surface on your mat. It picks that up. The foil will pick that up. Okay, so we are done with this. So when we open this guy up, it's fairly shiny on both ends. If you fold it this way with the foil on the inside, I don't know if you can see the difference, but it's got like a less shiny surface. So on this one also, we're gonna come with our bone folder and we're gonna open this up to expand it. Okay. And now we're gonna glue this to our train. And it doesn't matter, just center it. I kind of like the little black and the gray to be part of the background. All right, so now for the circles, so I cut I did use that small wheel and then the medium wheel. Let's put this guy back on. From the die set. And then I cut one of these bigger circles that has that little section. So that's why you see that on here. So we're just going to trim that off. And I need a one, I don't know what that is, the top little piece. So we'll quickly cut that from one of our scraps here. So we'll glue this piece first because we want to use the edge as our the end of where our circle meets. So let's glue this guy first. Okay, I have a little bit of glue in my fingers, so it keeps getting stuck to my fingers. Okay, I was gonna move it a little bit to the top. So now we get our big circle, and we're gonna glue it down. So I like it to meet the top part. Oops. And it's about centered there. Just press on it for a second. Like on my layout, on the top, on this particular train, I don't know if you can see, but I did use some foam tape to pop it out. But on the inner one, I wanted it flat, so this one doesn't have any foam tape. I don't know if you can see that. So if you want to pop this out a little bit, just use some foam tape. And then we're gonna, let's center this guy a little bit better and take this off. Put the second one in. And then for, to do the little lights, on this small little wheel, what I did is I cut the little, I call them spokes. I don't know what they're called. But I go in and trim that. So I'm kind of left with like a little silver ring. And then I did use, these are old Vivid pads. So this is an orange and this is a yellow. So I like to just shadow, you scrape the edges. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then from here, I come in with a yellow. Now for this guy, I did use a die to cut that out. And it should be around here. Oh, here they are. So this is a Spellbinder's die. And I used the smallest circle, this guy. And when I measured it earlier, it looks like it's a 3/4 inch circle. I couldn't find my punch. It'd probably be faster. But if you measure it from the cut line to the cut line in the center, you're about at 3/4 inch. So you need a 3/4 inch circle. And then here, I put glue around my little silver border. And then I just drop this guy because it fits perfectly. So I just kind of hold it. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of tape. And then I mount it. You could also put another piece of foam tape if you want to make it higher. So that's the way I did the front part of my train.